Welcome to Born for the Trades, a home service podcast. I'm your host, Mandeep Bhalla, and sitting virtually next to my co-host, Shreya.
Hi, everybody.
And today is a special day because it's her birthday. Wish you a very happy birthday, Shreya.
Thank
Is
you.
it really?
Well, it's a certain type of birthday, but we don't have to talk about that here. Just check Facebook.
Okay. Happy birthday.
Thanks.
And we have amazing guest today, and her name is Amanda Triolo, the dynamic entrepreneur and owner of Grasshopper Heating and Cooling. Amanda is also the brilliant mind behind CXC and AI-powered call-by-call, artificial intelligence-powered audio analysis, plus real-time coaching software. And they are recently joined forces with Service MVP and the renowned sales service training expert, Joe Crisara. Welcome, Amanda, to our show.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to be here. And I guess you could consider me the birthday present, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
This is the best birthday present ever for me to nerd out on this stuff, for sure.
Join us as we dive deep into the world of home service entrepreneurship, interacting with industry leaders, coaches, and entrepreneurs about their experiences, challenges, and victories. Through their inspiring stories, we hope to equip our listeners with the tools and knowledge they need to succeed in the competitive home service industry. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, tune in to Born for the Trades podcast for invaluable insight and real-world inspiration.
Can you share our listeners a bit about your journey, and how you come to be the owner of Grasshopper Heating and Cooling? Let's start with that.
Yeah, sure. So in 2016, I actually stepped into a commercial construction install only company, and that it was a challenge and a half. I signed my name to a lot of debt, and the goal was to be able to create a successful company out of it. And what does that look like? Well, it looks like unrealistic job deadlines, low profit margins. It looked like really, really stressful job sites. And then really the people that I was looking for to be able to bring on staff, it was slim pickings, and I had no company and no brand. So it was like everything was stacked up against me. And I started to research just HVAC as a whole. And what I found was that, through my research, I found other companies, and I found the residential home service market was really an awesome place to be. And I'm like, okay, how do I get there? So the goal was always to get to residential service in the home service industry and install and maintenance, but I couldn't figure out how to get there without essentially bankrupting the company as I knew it and bringing cash flow down to a halt to be able to pivot into a totally different business realm. So COVID actually gave me a new story. And when COVID hit, the governor of New York shut down construction job sites. So really I had no business at all, because the construction sites we were doing, you couldn't go on them because the governor mandated you couldn't enter a job site. So I immediately pivoted into connecting with home service company owners throughout the United States. A lot of them led back to Dan Antonelli at Kick Charge. A lot of them led to branding. I took the last 20 grand I had, never went bankrupt, but I took the last 20 grand I had, invested it with Dan Antonelli to rebrand, and the rest is history, because now we're here with Grasshopper.
Awesome. I call him Dantastic. Like, he doesn't do fantastic job. He does Dantastic job on every brand.
I love that.
Yeah, the first time I heard that story, it was, I hate to admit it, I absolutely hate to admit it, but I cried listening to her speak, Mandeep, at Profit Rocket.
I was in tears too. Like, wow, that when I saw that video story, oh my God, it's like, heart touching.
Yeah, especially because, you're not only now breaking one stereotype, right? Being a blue collar woman, but two, being in tech now, right? Working with AI is so cool that you're now going into both of those ventures, especially for your age and everything. So I wanted to spend some time, talking about that today, and, what Grasshopper's like today. So you went through a little bit about the past. In this last year, or, in a year from now, what are you working on with the integration of CXC and Grasshopper?
Yeah, so to kind of give it a little backstory, I took over call by call within Grasshopper because, you know, what I found was we were getting great leads, but then you start to see maybe too many $0 tickets or a lower job average, or what is the conversion rate. So I really dove into the KPIs, and what I found was that we had a lot of inconsistencies as a company. And so for me to be able to understand what we were doing wrong, what we could do better, where the gaps were, I stepped into that call by call role, which it wasn't really called call by call then, but now we call it call by call, modern day and age, right?
Right.
But I got on the phone with every technician. I dove into it for a few months. And what I found was that, wow, this is a lot of work. This is a lot of time. I have a lot of inconsistencies. I need to train a lot. And I don't know how one person can handle all this, because I'm going out of my mind and I'm the owner of the company and I have jobs to do, but this is a focus for me, because if I can focus here, we can increase revenue and provide a really great customer experience. And the funny thing is I, if you ask anybody on my team, for the last year and a half, 2 years, we've focused so much on emotional intelligence psychology as a company. And yes, we've got the leads of every department, and we've got quality assurance, we've got training, but we focus 90% on emotional intelligence psychology, 10% on training. Why? Because like, we're in the business of people.
Right.
Heating and cooling is just the avenue in which you're taking care of those people or providing a service to them and providing an experience, really. So the fact that like I was stepping into call by call, I've been preaching emotional intelligence and what kind of person is in front of you, and studying and who you know is in front of you. I was talking to Bree from Ad Leverage, actually, and they had just become my marketing company, and they develop products a lot. And so she was like, you know, what is your biggest time suck? And I was like, I don't know. Let me think about it. I'm like, oh, call by call, duh. And she's like, you know, how can you, let's see if we can have a robot to create or fill in for call by call for you. And I laughed and I said, yeah, okay, that's humanly impossible. If you can spit something out, then we'll talk. But then she, like, you know, we went back and forth with a few people. We started asking each other questions. And then before you knew it, in like 2 weeks, we were just role playing in my office and then testing things out. And it was crazy. And I'm like, whoa. So really all just evolved and was born out of an idea. And the idea really was to be able to provide a custom customer experience every single time. And then obviously, which will ultimately equal increased revenue. But how do you do that and ensure, you know, they're following the Grasshopper process, you're remaining ethical, you're leading with integrity, and you are able to have a customer still feel that great experience from you and have it not be on the phone every time. So that really was the challenge, was creating a robot version of me through call by call, which is actually it's what we did. And, you know, we started beta testing it in, I believe it was May 2023. And then my entire company went live with it October 1st and forward. And from there, I mean, October, we had mild weather. There was no hot days. There was no cold days. It was all right down the middle. And we had our highest—
New York, right? New York?
New York, upstate New York. We had our highest revenue month in the history of our company in October. No demand weather at all. But it was when it was the first month everybody was on CXC, and it's beautiful because it gives you a summary of the call. It gives you a sales strategy on the call. It gives you the Myers-Briggs and the personality type of who's in front of you. And then it gives you a sales strategy based on all of the above, what you know. And then not only that, we're integrated with Service Titan, so it's actually fully trained on your price book. So whatever was informed and educated on in the home then pops up as recommendations from your price book to be able to then recommend to the customer, which ensures they're not being sold anything they don't need or that wasn't informed and educated on. Did they do the process correctly? And then it ensures, you know, what is the Grasshopper process? And are we meeting those benchmarks? If we're not, are they passing? If they're not, did they fail on that grade? And then the beautiful part is I actually chose to partner with Service MVP. And that was the second best decision I think I've ever made in business. The first one was rebranding. Second one was partnering with Service MVP.
Yeah, when I got to know about this partnership, I was like, wow, that's definitely a deadly combination. But how did this collaboration come about? Like, and what benefits has it brought to your business?
So just to kind of talk on that for a minute, right? We partnered with Service MVP and we immediately saw the benefits. So 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks, right, Shreya, that you graduate. Right after graduation week, we saw immediate benefits of service MVP. And just to be totally transparent for those of you who are considering, is service MVP an option for me? Is it not? We made $260,000 just on the service MVP side of the warranty and labor. I'm sorry, the maintenance and labor reserves through warranty. 260,000 just on that side of it, not on our install, not on whatever we're selling on the job. And that much in December for only graduating our first class was like incredible. So then I'm an innovator, right? I'm a visionary. I'm like, how can we make this even better? I'm like, wait a minute. We've got the CXC product. We're measuring call by call. Now we just introduced service MVP. How do we make this something where we're measuring that service MVP process per technician per call, and then be able to continue to train and develop? So actually, I get excited when I'm talking about all this because it's so cool. But through all of this, I actually brought on a new role, and it's Director of Customer Experience, where he lives inside of CXC every day. And he's the one pioneering the service MVP training with us and really helping to gauge feedback. And CXC is what gives us the results on how a technician's performing. Are they reaching those benchmarks? And Shreya, I don't know if you want to take it from here just on what we've been working and collaborating together on from the service MVP side of what we're able to grade per call.
Yeah, absolutely. I got to take a look at it the other day and use it. And I got to say, I was jealous that I didn't get to use it when I was doing call by call on HVAC, because I was. I was doing call by call using service MVP specifically, which, you know, people that use Joe's process knows how non-vague that process is. It's not like a vague soft skills sort of thing. It's a tight, repeatable process, which is why it works and it's beautiful, right? But at the same time, it's hard to keep very permanent and tight. So I think that this partnership just takes all the things about this program that we have and, you know, really grows it into something we've always wanted. And a big inconsistency that I've noticed about softwares like this, because I've tested other softwares like this, because I've always been kind of obsessed with it. The inconsistency that I had that wouldn't work for me is there's not a repeatable process involved in it. It's kind of based on somebody guessing on how to sell and then comparing it to whoever their best person is, which, I mean, I love that it's more comparing it to the most tested sales and service process in the home service industry for the last 20 years. You know, the most tried and true process that is a scientific and psychological fact, right? So those two things together makes me want to get in the field right now. And almost Joe's gonna get pissed. It makes me want to go back in HVAC and, you know, be able to use something like this in the field. So even on the first call that I was able to take just a glance at, mind you, I just glanced at it in the first 3 seconds. I'm like, oh, they haven't graduated in the maintenance training. They don't know how to build the value on a maintenance call. It's different than a demand call. It was so dummy easy for me to do that I couldn't believe it. So, and that's, you know, even in the early stages, it's totally ready to go. So you could tell that I'm like cracked down and excited.
She's pumped. So excited to talk about that.
I just had some pre-workout too, so I apologize.
No, it seems like, you know, it has like, you know, you had that vision, Amanda, about like, you know, call by call. And with the partnership with Service MVP, it seems it is like, you know, it has turned out like, I think, fantastic for you, for your business and for others as well, right? And what kind of like challenges, when you come up with like, you know, this kind of like innovative idea, what kind of like challenges that you have faced?
That's a great question, actually. A lot of the challenges that I face sometimes, right, is, you know, we've got a mission as a company and we've got values as a company internally. And so whatever I'm thinking of introducing, it's how does this align with the visions and how does this align with the mission and the values? And like, even just partnering with Service MVP, I actually had a whole company-wide meeting to explain the why first of why I was I like to always start with why, then what. So I had a whole meeting as to the why, then the what. And when my team believes in something as much as I do, or trust my judgment and moving forward, it's a beautiful thing. But even with CXC, I really had to weigh, okay, is this ethical? I'm not seeking to replace people. I'm looking to give them a tool to make them more successful. And if the first part of my mission statement is we create opportunities that change lives, this is another way for me to help provide that, because I'm able to help make them more successful on every single call. You know, we talk about what happens on calls, and that is, we've got people, process, and training, really, right? Shreya might add some service MVP language in here, not sure. But those three things we are able to really hone in on, which drives the success. So people talk about growing, and they talk about increasing advertising and increasing marketing spend. It's like, we're not seeking to do that. We're seeking to be able to become the best at every single opportunity that we have and maximize those opportunities to be able to reduce that marketing spend, because we're so focused on our day-to-day KPIs or call-by-call KPIs.
Amazing. And I think that's what, like, I think if you can spend, like, less on marketing, because now you have data to improve how you can improve those metrics in your company, in the processes, to basically increase the sales and train more your employees better, right?
Yeah, and the number one thing people think about, like, if they're starting to, if calls slow down, or if, like, they're having a lower performing month, is, oh, I got to turn marketing up, or I got to increase my spend, or I need more calls. When really it's just, if your process is busted and you don't know what's going right and what's going wrong on your calls, you're going to turn the dial up, and then you're just going to literally have more money flowing out the window, where really you could be maximizing that money if you just focused on maybe what you're doing not so great at that you could be great at, or maybe what you're doing well but you could be even better at, right? So that's what we've really been focusing on over the last 7 months at Grasshopper specifically. And partnering with Service MVP was like literally it like solidified where we were going as a company so beautifully. And I just love where we're at, and the fact that we're partnering together on the CXC side of it to be able to really maximize that success. It's a double-edged sword. We're unstoppable.
I love the ethics check that you talked about. Like, you check your ethics on everything that you do. You make sure it aligns with the purpose and where you guys are going. And then, of course, you communicate it first why, then what to the team. And I mean, that's amazing leadership material right there. And then the technicians, right, in the way that we train is exactly what you do naturally, which what a lot of women do naturally, to be frank, is like they have that ethics check a little bit more upfront, and they have that emotional intelligence a little bit more naturally, and then are able to transfer that belief in a way that's beneficial to other people, that doesn't seem like micromanaging, or emasculating even.
Yeah, and that's a phenomenal point. So I had put out a post on Facebook, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago maybe, and I was just seeking to understand what people's biggest hurdle was with call by call. And I'd say 40% of the comments were, oh, I could never do that, I'd lose my top guys, or absolutely not, I don't want my guys to think I'm micromanaging them, that type of thing. And my response to that is, really, I think that that's a culture problem, because we're never seeking to micromanage our teams, right? Then that's a leadership problem if you are having 100%. To feel like you need to do that. Exactly. So it's a culture problem, number one. Number two is, my team was excited because they knew that we were going to be able to help equip them better to find more success, because at the end of the day, again, our mission statement is we create opportunities that change lives, and us being able to give them the ingredient to where we can help them become, go from good to great, as my favorite book says. It's helping to understand. And, in business, people are like, what do you mean you're recording inside the home? Okay, well, all of our phone calls are recorded through Phones Pro, but you're telling me the biggest liability that you have as a company is when a technician or a Grasshopper enters the home, but that's all just a big question mark and mystery mark to what the homeowner said and what my technician says, right? So there's really nothing ethically wrong. And we've experienced more than 5 times now a situation since we've enabled call by call with the technicians, where the liability of that call by call, there's sometimes not great people in the world, and sometimes there's people with bad intentions. So as much as we'd like to believe that the world is great, sometimes they exist. However, we've been able to uncover that and cover the technician's liability in times where maybe we were looking to get taken advantage of. We were able to pull a call back. So technicians have been loving it through multiple lenses.
Yeah, absolutely. I see it the same way. It's just the way that things are going. And, we're already known for being behind in everything, the trades,
Yeah.
and we learn about everything like 5, 10 years later than everybody else. So you're really living in the now and sharing that with everybody, giving them the opportunity to get ahead. Because once, AI has already hit, with the speed of AI, you must start now if you want to participate, with everybody else, because of how fast it multiplies.
It is.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is going like so fast. Like, yeah, I would say we should have like everyone should have implemented yesterday. And I'm just like building something on the basis of AI for like marketing. And it's crazy the way that it works, the data that it comes through AI. It's phenomenal. And I think people are like, I think they are not looking forward to like, adapting, but I think they should right now. Otherwise, it's gonna be late, right? And I want to touch base, Amanda, on that. Like, how has this integration of AI and real-time coaching influenced the customer experience? Have you noticed any notable improvements in customer satisfaction overall?
Yeah. So when you have a technician in your home and okay, let me back up a little bit. When you have someone who you feel like understands who you are as a person or is really resonating with you at the levels in which you best make your decisions or you best communicate or you best receive information, that becomes not a service, but an experience. There's a difference. And through CXC for us, it actually helps us to understand what kind of person that we are serving in front of us to be able to provide that experience by customizing the customer experience to them. There's some people that are analytical. There's some people that are price driven. There's some people that are emotionally driven. But then taking that a step further okay, if we understand that they're a disc, C, right? They're a C on the disc assessment.
Right.
What does that mean for how I should approach them to where they best receive that information from me? That becomes an experience. And it's absolutely a beautiful thing where you see this connection and relationship being solidified with a technician and a homeowner, because you're not just talking at them, right? You're involving them, but you're building a relationship with a foundational level with them at the center of it. So it makes a world of difference.
You made a great point.
That's what makes service premium, is it's custom and it's relevant in anything in the world, in the market. Everything is like, if it's custom and relevant and there's a person in front of them in their home doing it, and everything is built just for them. I mean, that's also, they're going to assume that, wow, this is a premium job, and they have that higher expectation, which is what raises the average tickets, right? Sort of thing. So that's just naturally the way it goes. But yeah, totally. And I wanted to ask as well, I know that you're doing some beta testing with some other companies, so I wanted to talk a little bit about that, your experience, some successes or challenges that you've seen with the beta tests.
Yeah, the beta testing has been really awesome. Actually, we've got people chomping at the bit to just want to beta test. So understanding, our belief is you only get one time to make a good first impression. So we wanted to make sure we really had it dialed in, which is why we launched within Grasshopper and worked out all the kinks as we went to really be able to have a great product that not is just a product, but it's a tool for them, and that they feel immediate results from that tool. So I can tell you day one, when Airworks went live with the beta testing in California on CXC, she was like, holy crap, I already had a technician who sold this much today, and this is so awesome. And I have a lot of people messaging me asking for a demo, and really there is no demo for it, because everybody's going to be able to onboard and sign themselves up at their own luxury, import their own price book, where like we're not locking you into a yearly contract. You are able to sign up. There's no termination like timeline. So it's really plug and play model for them to be able to use as tools, where we hope to make it home service friendly, because the home service industry, you know, there's seasonality and there's demands, right?
Right.
Being locked into, say, 2,400 per license per technician per year, for those smaller contractors, that's not really a fit where they're going to opt to be able to choose a tool like that because it's not affordable and it doesn't make sense. But for us, you can turn it on or off per technician anytime, and you're only paying by the job. So, and that's right now. Could we evolve down the line and somebody could be listening to this a year from now? Possibly, but we are making every decision with the home service contractor in mind.
Yeah, and so people have some clarity. I would say a question that I get a lot about this is CXC a tool to hold training in place that's already existing? Like they've already been trained, or provide the training solely within the software?
Oh, that's a good question. Like for call by call?
Yeah, or really anything like their sales process, the call by call, what they're supposed to be doing in the home. Because let's say you have a company like many that don't have any repeatable processes in place, had never
Yep.
been trained, and they got the CXC software. And then maybe another
Yeah.
company that already has that training in place, and that is to hold it more permanently in place, uh,
Okay.
to have the repeatable process.
So this is a two-layered question. The first layer is CXC is the tool that will prove immediate results to a contractor, whether or not they have call by call in place or not. It's synced with Service Titan. So when you hit arrive in Service Titan, it comes up on your app on your phone to be able to enable immediately the recording. But it's providing you with the summary, the sales strategy, the homeowner type, and then it gives you the feedback to go back in there and maximize that opportunity while customizing the customer experience. So whether or not you know what call by call is or you're doing it, there still is so much gold in the responses you're going to get per technician per call, where you should absolutely receive immediate feedback. Now, would I have somebody internally monitoring the admin side of that to make sure there's no misses? Absolutely. I think that that's necessary. Is it mandatory? No, not at all. But on the service MVP side of it, CXC X MVP, I think is what we're calling it, right, Shreya?
Tongue
Something
twister,
like
but
that.
yes.
CXC, yes.
CXC X MVP, something
X.
like that. On that side of it, for contractors that have partnered with Service MVP, not only is it the CXC tool, how it comes, but it's taking it a step further and it's incorporating the entire Service MVP process into that bot to be able to not only give them the content that they need to maximize in the home, but then it's grading you on the Service MVP process. So if I'm a manager or I'm leadership or I'm an owner of a company, that is literally saying, oh my gosh, not only can I partner with Service MVP, they can help us go from good to great. They can help us increase our revenue and our average ticket overnight, but then they can hold us accountable all year long and let me know as an owner, do I have blind spots, or do I need to invest in training, or do we need to focus on this technician a little more? Are we missing the mark on some maintenances? Are we not saying the homeowner's name enough times? Was there no magic moment? So it's literally like Service MVP is now able to offer a tool to you that guarantees success every single call.
I can't wait for that. I can't wait seriously to see all the technicians, because I already have, honestly, technicians and people that are very ambitious. I have a lot of ambitious salespeople and technicians voluntarily send me recordings of their entire sales calls all the time.
Love it.
They've always done that, and they say, hey, I recorded this for you today. I let them know, and then I have to sit there and listen to the whole thing to see where they went wrong. I could glance at it, and then it's crazy because even if the rest of the process was perfect, which it never is, there's always improvement for everything. If I fix one part of the process, it makes the world of difference in their conversion and their average ticket and their reviews. That's what I love about it. I could tweak one thing. The way you say this sounds rude and it sounds pressuring. The way that you say that, So
Yes,
turn
those
it into
little
this.
things.
Yeah, we believe in equal access to information. So I just want to show you and your wife respect. That's why we want to have both of you at the appointment today. Right. So what time would be better, 9 or 10? Like, that is so warm, but also I'm in control of the call still. Instead of like, we need both decision makers at the call. Like,
Yep.
that sort of thing. So I could change just that one little thing. They have a completely different outcome. So yeah, I'm really
Absolutely.
excited for this to launch. When could we expect this to launch for everybody?
Yeah, that's the exciting part. And just to kind of piggyback off that real quick, there is the CXC product by itself, and then there will be the CXC X MVP product for all Service MVP clients. And then Service MVP will actually be able to have a admin login per company for their clients, should their clients choose to partner with them through the CXC bot. And we are actually launching on the 15th of January. So very soon.
Oh, very
We
soon.
are,
It's just a
the
few days
countdown is
left.
on. Yes, Joe and I have been going back and forth very frequently. The Service MVP, it might take a little bit of making sure we're all on the same page, but the product itself is launching on the 15th, and Service MVP clients should be able to have that at their fingertips pretty soon.
I'm super excited for this, and I think just a few days left. And I think whatever you have, shared, this is definitely going to shape the home service industry the way we're looking at. And I think if people are like, going to adapt pretty soon, definitely they're going to see a lot of like changes in revenue, in culture, in overall like sales. This is definitely going to be a game changer. And I always admire you, Amanda. And I want to ask you, like, looking ahead, what are your future plans for Grasshopper Heating and Cooling? How do you envision the role of technology in shaping the future of HVAC family, I would say, home service family?
That's a beautiful question, because I've really spent a lot of time over the last few weeks, especially giving a lot of thought to that question. And it's a multi-layered question, but I came up with a theme for myself for this year. So I came up with the word for my team, myself and my team, my leadership team, and that word is execute. So our word for 2024 is execute. Now, what does execute mean for me? So my focus in 2024, I've called it the year of profit. Now, for those of you listening, does that mean that Grasshopper didn't make profit last year? No, we're a very healthy company, but I am committed to become one of the healthiest companies that there is. And how am I going to accomplish that? It's going to be through being as innovative as possible, utilizing artificial intelligence, and maximizing efficiencies and cutting down on inefficiencies. So I am committed to focusing my time in 2024 to the year of profit by optimizing and innovating as much as possible, whatever that looks like. And I'm really excited about that. And one thing I'll say is I was on a podcast about a year ago, and I talked about my goal to get to $100 million in 5 years, I think was my goal. And I want to correct that comment that I made, because I'm no longer interested in growing to a place of a really high revenue dollar amount. It's not my goal anymore. My goal is to be able to become one of the healthiest companies that there is, where our mission statement, we create opportunities that change lives, where we're able to live that out, where everybody wins and everybody's dreams come true. And we're able to take the Grasshopper brand and forward as a way of life and reach more people. How we're going to reach more people, I don't have that answer quite yet. But I do know that I'm committed to the year of profit. I love my team. I don't want to have to rebuild another team somewhere else. So does that mean that I don't plant multiple locations and I go a different route? Possibly, but I'm doing a lot of self-reflection on what inspires Amanda this year and where Amanda can lead best.
Amazing. I think you mentioned that how you're going to reach out to more people is CXC and more impact. You empower people. And I think looking at your like overall journey, I think that has been phenomenal. Starting with your company and with the rebranding, the way that you have innovated, like always, new things, the culture at your company, and on top of that, coming up with this partnership, CXC Service MVP. I think you're gonna crush it, Amanda. Love that.
I can't wait. And I have never been afraid to try and fail. There's a difference between trying and losing, and then trying and failing. Failing is totally fine. Losing is never acceptable in my book. So if it means I'm going to fail a few times to get to where I need to get to, I'm cool with it. So I'm excited. I feel like I'm only just beginning, and there's a lot ahead, and I just don't know what that looks like yet, but I've got a great vision.
Wow. Well, thank you for
Amazing.
everything you've done for, our home service community and, reminding everybody that there's a heart in business and there's not really uh, anything without it. And business is
Yeah.
people, and that's the most important thing. And we have to take care of our people and take care of each other. And like you said, is health was your goal, right?
Yes.
I've never even heard anybody say anything like that in this sort of conversation in my life, right? Like that just shocked me. Like I just never heard all of those things put together
Yeah.
that way. And you seem to do that a lot with a lot of different subjects. It's your talent and leadership to the entire home service community, let alone Grasshopper. And even at Service MVP, we have been greatly affected by, working with you guys culturally. Since Joe went there to Grasshopper, things have been different for us,
I
and
love it.
it's really brought us back to just being there for each other and making sure that culture is the most important thing. So
Yeah,
thank you
Yeah.
for that.
and just to piggyback off that real quick, you can have $100 million company and have $100,000 net profit, but
Yeah.
what was it all for? The hustle culture and grinding it out and working hard hours just to get to that 100 million mark. That's not me. I had an opportunity to partner with a company that wasn't doing very well that wanted me to come in as a partner about a month ago. And I had to take a hard look in the mirror because I'm not in the business of flipping companies, and that's not what I'm passionate about. Money
Yeah.
is not what motivates me. In fact, I'm not motivated by money at all. It's my people. And,
Peop-
I'm going to announce this at my 3 years. So if my grasshoppers listen to this before then, love y'all. I'll let you know why on February 1st. But I don't want to plant multiple grasshopper locations myself and build more teams of people. My team of people here means so much to me. I want to maximize what we have here and then somehow reach more people through a different lens. And so health should be what more people focus on, because when you're healthy as a company, everyone's dreams can come true, which means your company can only thrive from there.
So powerful. This is amazing. I always get goosebumps. I don't know, when you speak, like
Yeah, I'm trying not to cry, so we have to wrap this up.
Oh God.
this
I
this
don't want
this
to cry
was
in here.
this was amazing. Thank you, Amanda, for coming on our show and sharing, like, everything. What do you have done? What are you doing with the technology, with AI? I think this is definitely going to bring a lot of value. Uh, and I think
I hope so.
for the listeners, I hope you have enjoyed listening to Amanda. Please go ahead and check out CXC. And Amanda, you want to share if
Yeah.
there is any platform where all the listeners can go out and watch what you have
Yeah.
built? If you want to share,
Yeah,
please.
so the website is cxc.ai, and they can join and subscribe to get notified as soon as we go live. We will be going live in increments, so we will invite people to be able to go online and start creating their accounts on January 15th, and we'll start unleashing more and more by day until everybody's off the wait list and on. So really by February 1st, everybody should be able to be live. So if they want to join that list and be a part of it, it's going to be cxc.ai.
Awesome.
And we're also going to link that below for everybody because it'll be out by the time that this episode is released. I think we forgot. So I'll link Service MVP and CXC so you guys could just go straight to those links.
Amazing,
Love it.
amazing. More power to you, and keep crushing it, Amanda. Thank you again for coming on our show. It was amazing.